Have you ever worked really hard on a plan and a strategy, and you put it in place and you implemented it, and it got you zero results? Have you ever had an inspiration, and when you didn't hesitate, when you just went for it, when you were just present and available and spoke from the heart, have you ever had people respond in a way that they instantly wanted to work with you? I'm Rhonda Renee of DivineNavigation.com, and this dance, this marriage of strategy and inspiration is one of the things that I work with my Purpose Mastery clients on a lot. You can actually get quite far on inspiration alone. You really never can get very far just on strategy. When we over design, when we over plan, when we over control, basically, we are coming from the place of our mind. When we act on inspiration, when we are present and allow ourselves to be guided in the moment and just connect with people, that's coming from a completely different space. That's coming from the space of spirit or soul, depending on the way you like to think of it. So I had a couple of examples just this past week that really brought this to light. One is one of my longtime clients. He's probably been a client for 5 or 6 years. I came across a video a couple of weeks ago, and I sent it to him based on some of the up-level work that we've been doing with him this year, and it really spoke to that inspiration. He had been doing Facebook Lives regularly for a couple of months at this point and was happy with the results, a couple hundred views, and thought it was going okay. This time, he took the inspiration from this video that he saw and he spoke about it. And his commitment really is to change the paradigm of gender relations. A big, big commitment. And he just spoke about it from the heart, fully present in the moment, no agenda, not leading anybody anywhere, just sharing his experience, both personally as a successful relationship coach for over 20 years as well, and asked the question, what is it that we need to do in order to change the way that men and women relate to one another? Well, here's what happened. In a matter of only 3 or 4 days, he had just under 7,000 views on that video. And it was really funny because right after, when I noticed that, he was actually on a trip, I noticed that and sent him a text message and said, do you realize what has happened with your Facebook Live? And he hadn't. And he celebrated for a moment. And the next minute he said, well, now I just need to know, the trick is what to put behind it, where to go next. And we ended up laughing about it because it's so easy to then go straight back to agenda, right? To be trying to move the ball down the court, to be trying to, again, make something happen. Instead of letting what wants to happen well up from inside of you, from that inspiration, and then taking action on that inspiration, right? Like that's an imperative piece. You do need to take action. You can't just sit in your chair and be inspired. At least not if you want to make money at it. The other example, one of my other Purpose Mastery clients, also somewhat in the relationship space and intimacy. And she has a retreat coming up and was kind of lopsided on the men's side. It really works for her work to have both masculine and feminine in balance in the workshop, in the retreat. And so we were on one of our group coaching calls this past month, and the idea just came up, okay, so let's do a webinar. Let's do a Facebook Live just for men about real talk with men. Immediately, she hopped on it. Short timeline, because the retreat was coming up, and she took action. She did a call just for the men. Not only were the registrations amazing, the number of people that showed up live on the call was higher than usual. If you guys ever do webinars and live calls, you know those numbers can be pretty low in terms of registration to actual show up. Well, she had something like 35%, 40%, somewhere between 35 and 40%. I don't remember the actual number, show up live for this call. From that, about 30%, 27%, I think we came up with, converted into a discovery session or strategy session, depending on the language you're familiar with that. We call them discovery sessions. 30% and 30%, right? So, and how to speak to men has been something that's been on her mind. So by following that inspiration in the moment, by having enough space to get an idea, an inspiration, intuition, and then follow it and put it in action, because she wasn't over scheduled or over planned, allowed her to actually now have a mechanism that she knows works. Over 30% conversion, and will become a standard of, how she communicates with men and the sequences that she offers to the men in her community. So I really wanted to bring this into your awareness about that marriage, about that dance between strategy and inspiration. Inspiration is amazing, and it will take you very far. If you don't have that spirit, that meaning, that soul in what you're doing, if you're not inspired by every step of the way, it's probably going to fall flat. And if you lean just on strategy without enough inspiration, there won't be any soul in it, and people will notice. People can feel the difference. So pay attention to how you're managing strategy and inspiration, how you're marrying them, how you're having them work together, and really stay committed to having the strategy support the inspiration instead of creating a strategy and then trying to be inspired by it. That's the trick. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned to this page for more amazing tips on how to run the business in your soul. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.